News. This is the City News Sunday Roast on 2CC.
Well, here we are. Nichole, Nicky O overall, Ian the Ed, Meikle having a great old morning once again, aren't we, Ed?
Yeah, I've got my earphones on the wrong way.
That's right, I've got you on microphone, so
yes,
it's just not my fault this time.
No, not at all.
Had some great conversations, still some great conversations to come in the next hour. So stay with us, give us a call, we'd love to hear from you.
6255 1206.
That was a little bit fast. That was a bit fast, that one. You know,
repetition.
I think, I hope they get our little in-joke there. But look, we did just briefly touch on wombats in our previous segment, and it's sad to see so many of them by the side of the road. And not only are they under increasing threat as roadkill, but also a highly contagious skin disease, which, if left untreated, results in a horrible death. It's awful. So to share with us some of what's going on and developments in technological assistance, no less, and how we all might be able to give a hand, we have on the line Associate Professor Julie Auld. Good morning, Julie.
Good morning.
Hi, Julie. Well, wombat, roadkill. I'm surprised that's one of the great threats for them. Are they just too slow?
Oh,
They're actually quick, aren't they, Julie?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
yeah, I was going to say they're pretty quick actually, but I suppose, wombats, they're quite unique in their biology and like other native animals, they don't have a good sense of, cars on roads. And they are large, so when they hit, we see them on the side of the road. We probably notice them a lot more than we do smaller species that obviously get hit as well. But wombats on roads is not a good thing. But
is that it's a major calamity for wombat population, is it?
Potentially, and in some areas where they're getting hit, our research has shown across Australia, where the wombats are found, obviously, that we can identify hotspots where wombats are hit by cars more often than others. So,
right.
In those areas, it can pose a definite risk to them.
Well, let's talk about the highly contagious skin disease. What is it called? Sarcoptic mange? M-A-N-G-E?
Yeah, sarcoptic mange. So, it's the same disease that humans get that we call scabies.
Oh.
So,
Ian and I both at the same time. Yes.
Well, have they always had it, Julie?
We think that it came in with European settlement. So when colonisation happened, people brought animals from overseas like cows, dogs, sheep, other animals, people as well, more people, and brought in. It's caused by a parasite. It's a mite, so it's in the same group of animals as ticks, and it affects just over about 150 different species of mammals. So it's quite widespread. But with the wombat, it leads to their death, and it's very noticeable and very common in their population.
Is that a threat, an extinction threat to wombats?
Potentially in small populations. So obviously wombats are quite widely distributed. I'm talking about bare-nosed wombats here.
Yes.
And where there is a small population, if the mange gets in, it can cause a problem, because if it's not treated, if the wombat is not treated, it leads to their death. And it's highly contagious because of that little mite. It can move around between wombats and in the burrows potentially as well. So,
but these are wild creatures. Trying to fix them must be problematic. You going out to sort of inoculate. How do you treat it? Do you go and get wombats and inoculate them?
Yeah, so it's because it's like the mite, the parasite. We treat it as non-invasively as possible, because these are wild animals. So if somebody has like a cat or a dog or cattle, and they need to treat them for a parasite, an ectoparasite, one on the external part of their body, you would normally use like a pour-on solution, or if it's a cat or a dog, you could use a spot-on treatment. But they're captive, they're domesticated, they're used to people. Wombats, obviously wild species, so we prefer to use a pour-on solution, and we prefer to use what we call a pole and scoop. And so basically you have to sneak up to the wombat very quietly.
Right.
So
It's not terribly scientific, is it?
No, there's a real technique to it.
I believe you.
It sounds it, yes.
Sneaking,
Yep.
yeah.
So-
And so
Sneak up to the wombat and then be able to pour it on without them disappearing on you.
yeah, that's right. So wombats have a really good sense of smell. So often if you approach them, downwind, not upwind, that sort of helps. And obviously, go very slowly and carefully and sneak up to the wombat. And the poles that people have to use, they can be about 3 metres long. So you can get within that sort of distance. You can pour it along their backline, the medication. So,
Do they get cross though, Julie?
well, they often run away. So this is the problem with people trying to treat them. You've got to be really careful. I'm not aware of anyone being attacked while trying to treat a wombat, but I do know that in some instances, obviously you hear in social media and things that people have been attacked by wombats. You've got to respect wild animals.
Yeah.
Wow, it's very manual. Do you do this preventatively or do you have to do it topically?
It's a topical treatment. So the pour-on is topical, and you would specifically find an animal that has sarcoptic mange. So the wombat has sarcoptic mange. They're out during the day. They've got really thick crust, particularly along the sides. Sometimes they can be called they've still got a bit of a mohawk. And they've got fur missing and the crusting of the skin. What happens is that actually eventually breaks open and they get secondary infections. So that's what actually kills them. The wombat with mange is pretty obvious when it's quite severe. So in that case, it's easy to target a specific wombat, or easier to target a specific wombat. They've got big home ranges too, but if you can target the ones that are sick, then that's the way to go.
So one drenching of this this liquid, that's enough?
Usually not.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so the mite's life cycle is quite quick, and the chemical that we use, it's called moxidectin. So it's got a reasonably short half-life in wombat. So that means the chemical works only for a short period of time. So then you have to reapply it. Excuse me. And when you're reapplying it, you have to make sure that, you're not overdosing the animal. And we've developed a training course in collaboration with the Wombat Protection Society.
So this is for lay people like citizen, what do you call them?
Yeah.
Environmentalists?
Yeah.
Citizen scientists.
Anybody can do the training course. It's free. It's online. So it tells people exactly how to go about treating a wombat. And at the end of that, they get a certificate which they can show to the Wombat Protection Society of Australia, and that enables them to be able to treat wombats. So you have to do the training, obviously, because it's not something just anyone can go out and do. But if you do the training, it teaches you how to do it properly, makes sure that you've got an understanding of the chemicals involved. Obviously, the wombat, you can identify what sarcoptic mange is. They're really important factors. So, yeah, we've got this training course up so everybody can have a go and learn more about mange as well.
Is there a module on sneaking up to them?
There's a section on it. Unbelievably, there's a section on it.
Good.
There's some fantastic videos on there just to show people how to do it carefully. Yeah.
They go viral on YouTube, Julie. And so how long does this training take? If people say, okay, I'm going to do this, what sort of time frame are they looking at? What's the level of expertise that they need to apply to it?
I would say probably like an hour or so, 30 minutes to an hour, depending on how fast you read and how quickly you answer the questions correctly, because it's got little quick questions in there too.
So it's a web-based training program?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Okay, that makes it a bit easier. Okay, look, we're going to have a quick break, Julie, and then when we come back, we'd like to talk with you a little bit more about some of the other developments that have been taking place in a technological space and the other online tools that you're using, and how we can help give a hand as citizen scientists. So more on that when we return with Associate Professor Julie Auld.
Harvey Norman 10.
We have Associate Professor Julie Auld, who's a biologist from Western Sydney University, and we're talking all things wombats. So, Julie, are we seeing more wombats killed on the road, to go back to the roadkill side of things, because like kangaroos, numbers are growing so quickly, or is it just more cars on roads and doing more damage?
Oh, that's a really hard question too. But I think, we all know that there's more cars on the road. Our research has shown that we can definitely pick up specific areas where there's more wombat roadkill that are occurring. During August and July is one of the highest rates we see of roadkill. And that might be because people are driving to the snow. I'm not sure why that is, but it also might be that the wombats are moving around more, looking for mates, getting ready to reproduce as well. So, yeah.
Now, you're the chief scientist of WomSAT, that's WOM and then capital SAT, which is the online tool used to report wombat and burrow sightings. And I looked up the website, and it said that you've got a current count of 23,570 wombats that people have seen and spotted. Is that an important part of it? Are you counting wombats? And if you are, where are they trending?
Yeah, so it's not the numbers exactly that we're focusing on. No. It's more where the wombats are. So people can log their sightings on the website and on the app, and that will tell us and everybody information about where the wombats are and where they aren't. Then we can look at things like, is the wombat hit by a car? And if so, are there specific areas, like I said, that are hotspots that we can specifically target to help reduce the numbers of wombats being hit by cars.
And so that might be what, Julie, more signage, etc.?
Yeah, it could be more signage. It could be more effective roads. For example, if we're building a new road somewhere, it might be a better option to build an underpass or an overpass or something where animals can safely move across the road from one side to another. It might be more signage. Sometimes people, they get accustomed to seeing the signs though. So there might be some, we might have flashing signs at dawn and dusk, for example, when we might see wombats more often.
Good suggestions. Time's ticking away, and I just wanted to get sort of a critique more generally of the lot of wombats since the Europeans have arrived. I've been reading in anticipation of talking to you today, Julie, that in 1906 wombats were proclaimed to be a pest. They're currently protected by legislation, but in 1906 they were proclaimed a pest. And I think was there a bounty on wombat skins that you were rewarded for killing wombats. Is that right?
Yeah, there was. So it's only been quite recently that wombats have been protected. All native species are protected across Australia. However, if there are particular situations, for example, farmers, they might be having problems with wombats. Sometimes wombats, when they like to build their burrows, really like to build their burrows around the base of trees. And so, what's like a tree? Oh, well, obviously a fence post is like a tree to a wombat. Yes. So, there might be situations like that where farmers are given permits to eradicate wombats.
We also have a history of eating them.
Yes.
Wombat stew.
Yes. Well, there's lots of wombat stories out there, isn't there? I have seen some articles in newspapers from the 1800s where people have discussed cooking up a wombat.
I think I prefer Jackie French's diary of one, quite frankly.
Yeah.
That's the sort of keeping it happier.
Yeah.
But
I'm not sure that eating one's a good idea.
no,
Yeah.
no, definitely.
Well, you can't now.
No. So let's. So this WomSAT though, Julie, it's also about that helping with this skin disease of this sarcoptic
That's right.
mange. So that's what you're really angling for with it, because obviously not everyone's going to be trained to deal with this, even though there's the opportunity to do that online. But you're really wanting people to report instances of wombats that they see that might be in a bad way.
Yeah, that's right. So if you see a wombat with mange, or if you don't, that information goes in the big database. Everyone can have a look. And we're looking at long-term trends, so over time, to see, is there a particular habitat or area where mange is always found? Is there an area where it's not found as much? Is it seasonal? Is it to do with rainfall? Is it the type of habitat? What are the factors? And in real time, can we look at in terms of mange incidents as well to better understand the disease?
So tell us, how do they find information? How do our citizen scientists find out about it? What do they do? Need to register themselves? How does it work?
Yeah, sure. So you can go online, have a look at the webpage. You can also download the app for iPhone or Android phones as well, womsat.org.au. Okay, so WomSAT, WOMSAT.org.au. Go on, register. When you see a sighting, you can take a photo and upload that photo. It tells us all information about where it is, the GPS coordinates, the date, time, those sorts of things as well. So it gives us a big pattern. And everyone can go in and have a look at where the wombats are, and even have a look at where hotspots might be for roadkill or mange in their local area.
That's amazing. And obviously when you're taking the photo, how to sneak up very carefully on the wombat to take that photo.
Yeah.
Well, look, thank you so much for joining us this morning and sharing that with us, Julie, and, all the best with continued conservation and research in this particular area, looking after our precious wombats.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure, thank you.
Good on you. Thank you, Julie. Associate Professor Julie Auld, a biologist from Western Sydney University and the Chief Scientist of WomSAT. So get out there and log on and let us know where our wombats are and give them a hand, particularly from suffering this horrible disease.
Terrible.